All right, it is now 6:30, so we will be starting. Hello all, and welcome to the Entente Plus What's New webinar. The purpose of today's workshop is to answer your questions. And my oh my, do we get a lot of questions. Throughout the month of November, as we've been letting members know, we've been emailed questions, people have been calling in with questions, and people submitted questions on our portal as well. And I'm happy to report that we have answered pretty much all the questions that we could today within the content of the workshop. So I will just say that you will have an opportunity to ask clarification questions as we go. But what I will ask is just to make sure that we can address any questions that aren't answered, that you wait until I cover a topic. And if I don't explain it adequately, if you still have questions afterwards, if I talk too fast and you want me to repeat it again, for those items, please feel free to put your comment in the chat box. Sorry, in the Q&A box. But otherwise, just sit back and enjoy. Again, you will receive a recording after today's workshop, so you can just try and absorb what you can and take a look at what we have to offer coming in 2026. Now, as much as we are going to be covering a lot of content here today, there's no way that we can answer everyone's questions within this hour and a half. So just remember that you don't need to ask all your questions here today. We are always there to help. So you can always give us a call or send us an email, or even better yet, try and access some of the tools that we've put together for this transition on our webpage. If you visit ontant.ca and right on the very top under Learn More, it does pretty much have everything I'm saying today, and it'll continue to grow as we hear what our members need to learn more about and we hear their questions. So we do suggest that you come on here and you take a look from time to time. Now, as a favor to all, just to make sure that today's time is best utilized, if you have some suggestions for the plan, if you really think that something should be covered or handled separately, we are always here to hear that. But that's not the intent for today's session. So for the Q&A box, if you can avoid asking questions about what else the plan could maybe be taking a look at in the future, or if you have suggestions, there are other ways to get in touch with us, and I would suggest you use those instead of using today's session, just to we can really focus on the main thing that people have questions about, which is the transition to Belairdirect to a GreenShield as of January the 1st as our new plan administrator. Now, a lot of people are wondering, well, why are we moving? Well, this decision wasn't made in haste. It's always a good practice to make sure that you're partnering with the what's best out there, and you always do an assessment for what the current offering is, what the price is, and then you make an informed decision. In evaluating all of the different players out there that could take the role of the administrator, GreenShield came out on top with an array of offerings for our members. And it's not even just answering your phone calls with extended hours. So anyone joining us from the East or the West Coast, you'll be happy to see that we have some extended hours there. They offer more digitization for some of our members that are expecting it, whether it be a digital benefit card, a mobile app, or enhanced portal to make claim submission easier, things of that sort. But even further to that, they are offering us very customized opportunities for our members. Throughout the process of reviewing our new administrator, we of course want to accommodate our members that really expect our plan to meet modern expectations. But also, we cannot forget about some of our more senior members that maybe don't even have a cell phone or a computer, or they're not as comfortable with technology, or they just really would prefer regular mail and stamps. And there's nothing wrong with that. Throughout this process in evaluating our potential future partners, we really did take a look at all aspects to make sure that we can actually enter into a partnership for long-term sustainability and really to serve our members in many ways, which includes giving us more data so that we can actually make better and more informed decisions for all of you in the future, so that we can actually continue this partnership for a long time into the future as well. Now, I just want to make sure that people aren't thinking, oh, they're going to a Green Shield plan. How is Green Shield going to change things for us? Okay. Now, if you've ever heard someone say in the past, that Johnson Insurance plan or that Belairdirect plan, and if you hear anyone say the Green Shield plan, please correct them. Okay, because this is not a plan that's owned or it's not a plan that is determined by any kind of insurance company. When we say that we're replacing the administrator, what the administrator does is service the population. So they service all of the insured members to make sure that the claims get paid correctly, to make sure that if they want to add a plan, they can help facilitate that, to make sure your premiums are collected, but most importantly, to make sure that things are done in a timely fashion with accuracy and using as much as possible modern tools to make sure that that's easy and efficient for you. This plan does continue to be owned, operated, and managed by basically your colleagues. What really makes RTO ERO's on Top Plus plan unique is that it is owned, operated, and governed by our board of directors. Our board of directors who are elected by corporate members at our annual meetings. So basically, they are a group of volunteers that help us operate all facets of the plan, which includes the Entente Plus plan. Now, they don't do it on their own. They work alongside staff like myself and other insurance professionals to make sure that this plan continues to be the biggest and most popular group health insurance plan for education retirees in all of Canada. And RTO ERO, which is soon to be Entente Education Canada, wants to make sure that we actually have tools to help serve our newest group of retirees joining the plan, as well as some of our more senior ones. But all in doing so while maintaining the design of the plan that our members have grown to love. RTO ERO's health plan is very, very unique. The On Top Plus plan is operated in such a way where it's not determined by an insurance company, it's not governed by an insurance company. It is your benefits committee and your board of directors and staff like myself that have no direct ties to any insurance company that make a determination of as of to what is covered and what the premiums are. And with a plan like ours that isn't fully insured, what that means is every single premium dollar that's collected is fully used for the plan, whether it's to make sure the phone keeps on ringing, to make sure your claims get paid, but the majority of your premium simply goes to paying out your claims. So you may be wondering, well, what about Belairdirect? Well, Belairdirect isn't going away completely. Anyone still with a home and car policy, that is completely unaffected. We still have a preferred partnership with Belairdirect, where our members still have the ability to get discounts for home and car insurance through Belairdirect. If you have any policies like long-term care, life insurance, or AD&D, Belairdirect is still going to continue to be the administrator for all those products. And for anyone who has grown to appreciate the group benefits team, so those that actually adjudicate the claim and who are actually having the claims adjudicated and calling into Belairdirect. If you grow relationships over the years, unfortunately, the group benefits side is terminating, and that is what's being brought to GreenShield. So I am monitoring the chat box as we go, and there is one very important question about data integrity and the what's happening with the data. So no matter which administrator is being used, whether it be a Belairdirect or whether it be GreenShield or whether it be other, the reason why we want to work with insurance companies and it's not just a group of, for example, staff adjudicating, is because we partner with those that have a good reputation in the industry. And with that, a part of the market review and assessment of any potential partners that we work with is doing a lot of due diligence. So whether it's to make sure that they have the proper regulatory oversight, to make sure that they have the right privacy compliance and they're following the privacy acts, making sure they're following PIPEDA and they're actually regulated with the proper regulatory boards, and also really monitoring their data practices to make sure everything is stored in Canada, to make sure that the data is not theirs, but is continuing to be governed about with the On Top Plus plan itself. All of that, we can assure you that all of that due diligence has been done by many levels of authority to review it. It's been done through staff, through consultants, through actuaries, so you can actually be assured that your data continues to be fully protected within the On Top Plus plan. Now, there is still some days in December. I can't believe that it's already December the 4th, but there is some time left, and you may be wondering, well, what about claims that I want to send in right now? And you certainly can still do so. So Belairdirect, they are going to keep working right up until December 31st. But we want to make sure that the claims that they receive are only the volume that they can handle up until the 31st. So because of the time it takes for mail to come in, the time it takes to adjudicate claims, and just to make sure that if there are any other follow-ups that are needed, we have sufficient time. We are recommending certain dates as a last day that you should be continuing to send in claims to Belairdirect. So if you want to continue to mail claims, we suggest that you stop on December the 12th. If you do like to use their online portal, we suggest that you stop on the 22nd. Now, if you do send it in and it's delayed, or let's say you are just watching this on our Learning Center and it's in January and you're wondering, oh no, I sent my claim in, please do not worry. Any claims that are received at Belairdirect that are not processed will be rerouted, and that will make its way to GreenShield for adjudication. And if you have any purchases that are submitted directly at the vendor, whether it be a drug purchase at the pharmacy or a dental visit or a massage therapy treatment where your provider sends it on your behalf, you need not worry. That is still going to be fully in effect right up until December 31st. And then in January is when you really have the full suite of services offered by our new administrator, GreenShield. They will start adjudicating any paper claims that land in their inbox through mail or are rerouted. So that's going to start as of January the 1st. But you'll also be able to take full advantage on their online portal. That is both using a regular internet browser, or I'm very, very excited to report that GreenShield is going to be making available a mobile app for our members as of January the 1st. Okay, so you can actually continue to send in your claims in December, but also be assured that if you hold on to your claims from this year and only send it next year, that is still perfectly fine. Green Shield is still going to be adjudicating claims that were from 2025. In fact, to be mindful that there might be a period of time where some members may need some extra time. We are extending the 6-month claim submission timeline so that anything from July 1st, 2025 and onward still can be submitted to GreenShield next year as long as it's before June 30th. Okay, so just be assured that you do have some extra time. So if you do have some claims on you right now and you're not sure what to do and you're wondering, do I send it to Belairdirect or to GreenShield? Really, it is fully your choice. And on the provider front, at your pharmacy, at your dental office, or any other providers that send claims on your behalf, you will want to make sure that they get your information. So I'll be giving a lot more specifics as to what that information is shortly. But as of January the 1st, your provider will be able to submit those claims on your behalf as of then. Okay. Now, we are currently in December 4th already. I can't quite believe that. But what's next? Okay, you're here today. What action are you expected to take next in December? Well, starting next week, some members are going to start getting some information from us. So they will start getting an email. So any member with an email will receive some instructions next week. Okay? It will instruct you on how to register for your online account. Now, if you don't have an email with us, or if you would rather not check your emails right now, you need not worry because all members will be receiving a mailed version of those instructions, and the mail is going to start going out next week. And when you get it is going to be determined by your postal service. So we hope shortly after December 8th you will get it. And in that envelope, you will have three things. Okay. This is an example of the email that you would get, but I would rather show you an illustration of what you get in the mail. So you will receive this with a cover letter, and it will have instructions on how to register. But what it will also have is two durable cards for you as well. Now, just to take a slight pause, because at our webinar yesterday, there was quite a few questions about everything here. So I'm just going to slow down and pause for a moment just to explain each one. The cover letter is simply just to tell you a lot of things that you already know from what you heard today. So it will also give you contact information in case you do need to reach out to us. For the registration instructions, I am going to go over that next. And really, what that will enable you to do is access our online portal, which I'll show you in a moment. But where there was a lot of questions is, oh, so you mean I will be getting a physical card? I'm not just gonna get an e-card. The answer is yes. Okay. Now, throughout this process, we actually have been really trying to find that balance of offering digital options, but not forgetting a lot of our members that do actually require tangible items. We have never forgotten that. We just were trying to find that right solution. So I'm happy to report that we found a nice green option in a durable paper card, and we really put it to the test. We tried to tear it, we tried to rip it, we tried to do many things to it, and it is absolutely durable while still honoring our commitment to going green. So happy to report that you will be receiving two durable cards in this mail in December with this package. All right, so registration. So by doing this, it will give you two things. It's going to give you access to the Entente Plus portal as well as the Entente mobile app. And what you can do within those two locations is you can submit claims, you can check an estimate for a claim, you can look at your past pay statements and predeterminations, you can get coverage details, statement for taxes, and access forms and your printable card. There really is a lot that you can do. So while no one has to register, if you would choose not to, or you rather do it next year in March, it really is up to you on when you do it. But we really ask that everyone give it a shot because it really is easy and it only takes a few minutes. So over the next few slides, I'm just going to walk you through how simple it is, just to give you a visual as to what the process will look like when you have the opportunity to do this as early as next week. So you would start by visiting claims.ententplus.ca. And here you'll see that there's a button. And again, this is in the instructions that you're going to be receiving, where it gives you step-by-step instructions on what to do. First thing you do is you click on sign up. Once you click that, it'll bring you to a page where it's going to ask you to enter in an email. Now, it doesn't need to be the email that you currently have with RTO ERO or with Belairdirect. It could be whatever your preferred email is. Okay? And once you put that in and you select continue, this may be just the one part where you may need to try more than once, but it's probably not likely. Because emails that we have kind of run the gamut of popular emails like Gmail, or there may be a popular email like Outlook. There are many emails that sometimes don't operate the same way. And there are certain emails where the domain may be more inclined to send it to junk or block it altogether. So once you put your email in and you hit continue, what you need to do next is you need to go to your email inbox and you should have a verification email sitting there. And we've been assured that for very, very, very large rollouts on the GreenShield platform, they seldomly have any issues. Now, the only time that they may is if you have an email and kind of the three that not just GreenShield, not just RTO ERO, but if you look online, you'll see that there are certain email domains that a lot of groups have trouble with. It may be because of that. And those tend to be the Hotmail, Cogeco, and Simpatico. Now, if you have those and you use it and it works fine, beautiful, you need not worry. But if you're using those and there's no verification email, you may just want to try a different email. Because really, if it doesn't work, just come back here and put in a different email and just keep going until you can find one that works for you. And again, most of you will have it on the very first try. And then you simply need to take note of that verification code and then you put it into the field that's there, and then you click continue. And really, that probably is one of the more harder steps because after this, everything you already have in front of you or you should know and is all within your control. So this page will ask you to input three things, and two of them will be right within the documentation that we send to you. So this is an illustration of the letter that we're going to send you. And if you look at the upper right-hand box, you will see something called a company identifier and an online registration code. You simply need to key those two fields in the two boxes there. And after that, you need to put in your date of birth. And we're pretty sure that you know what your date of birth is. You just need to know how to operate this field properly. And it really is intuitive where you simply click the year, you toggle to your month, and then you click your date. And just to make sure that you got it right, it will populate that date for you in the field. And then you simply need to just confirm that that is correct. And once it is, then you click continue, and then you are done. And then you put in your name. And you may be wondering, like, why do I need to enter this in? You should have all this information. Now, not all portals are created equal, and some are very hard to get through. Some you need to call them just to authenticate it. Some you will need to actually have both email, phone number, verification codes texted to you. It can be very complex. The process that GreenShield uses is very user-friendly, where once you put in your identifiers, you put in these other pieces of information just to verify that you are you, but also to make sure that we have the most up-to-date information. So you put your address in, and then once you do that, you're pretty much done. Except the very last thing is to choose a password. Okay. Now it does have those minimum requirements that most sites do these days, just to make sure that it's highly protected. So it needs to be 8 characters with an upper, a lower, a number, special character, but also you need to actually just enter it and confirm it just to make sure that you got it right. Now, happy to say that once you set it, this will be your password forever. It doesn't expire, it doesn't change. You can just continue to make note of it and make sure that you take note of what it is. Okay. And then the registration is complete. From that, you'll be brought to sign in and you're done. Okay. Now, there are questions about the registration that I just want to respond to. One question is, well, do I have to? No one has to. This is just giving you access to the online portal and the app. So you would only have to if you want to use some of the digital tools. The question is, can you actually designate someone to sign in for you? Now, best practices is always to actually just sign in on your own and not share that information with anyone else. Now, we can't control that. So if you would really want to, that's not something that we can control. But what I will say is that just always be cautious. I mean, if it is a spouse or whatnot, you may choose to do so. We're not authorizing that, but that is different than asking a neighbor or a friend or someone that you really don't know too well. So again, we don't have any control over what you do. It is always our suggestion to follow best practices and learn how to do it on your own as much as possible. But in terms of sharing your login information, we always advise to not to. And if there's many people within your plan, does each person need to register? The answer is no. If you have a single, couple, or family plan for everyone covered under that, you simply need to just have the one person who is the main name on it, the person. Okay. And one final question. Someone's asking, can they use the same password that they currently do on the Beller portal? Likely yes. As long as it meets those password requirements, then all of it should be fine. It will accept. Nothing, especially your password of that sort in terms of the functionality on the Beller site is being brought over. So there should not be any issue with using that password again. Okay. Actually, just one more question, and it is about sharing it with the power of attorney. Power of attorney is different. If you do have a power of attorney or POA, they are able to act on your behalf. So for those, I would actually ask you to speak with the lawyer that actually I used to set it up, just to double check if they should or should not have the ability to obtain that information and do that on your behalf. All right, now once you're in, it's going to look a little bit different than this when you first sign in because it's still December and technically this doesn't kick in until January, but we wanted to give our members access to some of these tools in advance just to make the new year easier. So a lot of the services won't be turned on until January the 1st, but there are a couple of things that some may need to do. And those functionalities can be done in the upper right-hand corner here. So if you click on your name, and actually up here, you do have the ability to toggle to French and English if you like. And if you need additional support in January, especially GreenShield will be there to actually assist you with your digital questions and help you navigate the site. But if you are to click on account settings, you will see some features that are going to be used for you in the here and now, primarily around the payments and bills area. Because this is where you can have the opportunity to update your pre-authorized debit information or your PAD information. Okay. And the reason why I say may or might or could so much is because some of you some of you would have chosen your pension plan to as a source to pay for your insurance premiums. If you have pension paying your premiums, you do not need to do anything. That is going to carry over. That selection is still with your elections for the plan. But also, many of you would have already submitted your pre-authorized debit information to us for the form that we sent many times. And if you're getting tired of our emails, our apologies. We just wanted to make sure that we gave you time to give us that information to make sure that there is no gaps in coverage or arrears in 2026. So if you did give us your pre-authorized debit information, it will show here already. And if you do have your premiums paid through bank deduction and you have not given us your pre-authorized information yet, you could do so on this page. Okay. And if at any point in time you want to change, you could always do so using this portal. This is also the place where you can give us your direct deposit information as well. And again, for many reasons, we strongly encourage people to set up direct deposit. In fact, the vast majority of our members have moved away from checks altogether. Um, if you filled out a PAD form in November, you may see a bank account here already because it does pre-populate with the account that you already gave. If you wanted to update it to a different account, you could do so here. If you've never added a bank account for the GreenShield platform yet, this is where you do it. Okay. Oh, there's a question. Oh, there's someone asking, well, can I continue to get check? And absolutely, there is still going to be checks available for those who want it in 2026. But again, we will really strongly suggest that you at least try direct deposit for various reasons. I mean, first of all, you will get your reimbursement a lot faster by direct deposit. And if the past few years have been any indication, relying on mailing services is not always the most reliable. Even without delays and strikes, mail gets lost, mail gets delivered to the wrong people. There are a lot of concerns with relying solely on check. But what I will say too is, and while we are always willing to support our members. There is an added cost for every single check that we produce for our members as well. So you may want to consider at least trying a deposit if you have not done so yet. And as much as I saw a lot of people celebrating and doing thumbs up with a plastic card, you don't even need to wait for the plastic card. But also, there was one person that said that they have a very big family and they would like the opportunity to actually give one to their adult child as well. But one of the main things that I heard when we first mentioned about the option to print the card is, well, I travel a lot and I need one on my wallet. Well, really, the beauty of having a online version is you can really print off as many copies as you want. On this page is where you can actually hit print and you can actually have a copy in your vehicle, in your luggage, in your wallet, with your partner, with your travel companion. You can really print off as many copies as you want. But one best practice that someone shared with me that I just loved and I do myself too is I actually have a copy in my email. That way, even if I lose my phone, I lose my wallet, and I'm stuck somewhere, you can always usually access your email one way or another. How great of an idea was it that person suggested that you could save a electronic version and email it to yourself so you always have access to it no matter where you are. Okay. And a lot of people are wondering, some of you actually may be joining from a warmer climate than where I am. And if you are, we are all very jealous of you because it is quite cold and snowy here where I am. Now, if you are joining us from while traveling here virtually, you may be wondering, well, how will January 1st affect my travel coverage? The short answer is that it will not. So again, all the coverage is maintained and it is continuing even after January 1st, which includes your travel plan. If there is a medical emergency, you can still call the same numbers that are on your benefit card. You would still call Global Excel. They would use your information to find you, so you don't need the current card in order to ensure that you have coverage if there was an emergency. Okay? So you can have confidence that your plan is still supporting you. We have about 800 people that also purchase what's called a supplemental travel plan. So this is where you're traveling more than 93 days without coming back, or you have a slightly more expensive trip and you got an additional $6,000 worth of cancellation coverage. If that's you, that again is going to be continuing and maintained. But since we are moving away from Belairdirect RSA, which previously offered that insurance, you need not worry because that is going to be transferred to your on to On Top Plus as of January the 1st too. Many of you who purchased supplemental may have gotten an email on this today where it just confirms that your coverage is going to continue. The premiums, the amounts will not change, and we will be reaching out with you with more information shortly just on the process and how it might be different for next year. Because I would say that the only change that you can expect really is that next year is not going to automatically renew for your extension of coverage beyond 93 days. For avid snowbird travelers, you may be quite accustomed that every single September it just automatically renews. With the GreenShield online portal, it does make it super easy to do that on your own and provide those dates. So the old practice was a lot more manual. So that is the only process that will be changing. Okay. Now, all of that is things that you can do in 2025, but really 2026 is going to be here before we know it. And what then? Well, when 2026 comes, not to be anticlimactic, but nothing really changes. But we are still going to continue to communicate with you and because we'll be sending out more benefit booklets because the 2026 booklet will be available electronically in a couple of short weeks, but some members are expecting a printed copy. For any member that does not have an email with us, you will receive a printed copy, and we'll speak slightly more on the benefit booklet on the next page. You will have access to an array of videos and tools using our learning portal, but also there was actually already quite a few questions about the statements that are going to be sent, are typically sent every single year to help our members with their taxes. So I am going to pause here for just one moment because at our last webinar, there was probably quite a few dozen questions that arose here. So I'm going to slow down just to give you a full explanation, just to try and answer your question so you don't need to ask it. Um, Whenever you fill out your income tax, there is typically that field that some people do or do not fill out. And it does ask for a summary or a total of any health expenditures that are eligible as a medical expense tax credit. Now, both your insurance premiums, as well as all those remaining like 15% amounts or 20% amounts on your that you pay out of pocket, all of those are eligible as well. So with your premium and all of those remaining amounts, all of those can be entered into that field, and based off of your overall expenditures for those items, or how much you actually earn, if it's within 2 or 3% of your gross annual earnings, you may be eligible for a medical expense tax credit. Now, a lot of people ask, well, can you send me that insurance tax document? Okay. There is no such thing as an insurance tax document. It's not the same as like a T4. It's not the same as like a T4A, but it is something that you can use to do your taxes because it is a summary statement that we send to you in order to actually know what that amount is and determine if you do want to apply it as a medical expense tax credit by entering into the field. But it's up to you to do some due diligence. If you sent in a lot of receipts for items that are not an eligible expense, maybe you sent in a whole bunch of receipts seeing if your gluten-free food might be paid for, or you're wondering if that new exercise bike might be paid for, and those were submitted and declined. Well, those can't be applied, so there is a level of diligence that some of our members need to do. And some members, they do want a detailed statement to be sent to them. Now, Belairdirect, they are going to be the ones sending it. And typically in February is when we start getting some calls from members saying, well, I need a more detailed version. This is not adequate for me in case I get audited. So what we're going to do is this year, we are going to be sending all of our members the full statement just for their archiving or use. This is actually, we understand that this is going to be a bit more paper than we typically use because some members don't need it or that summary document is fine. But just for ease of the transition, this is a required item. Everyone will be receiving the full tax document with all of the expenditures this coming year. For 2027, I'm going to ask for and for your 2026 claims and 2027, I'm gonna just gonna put that to the side for now and talk about that in a moment. Okay. And of course, we're going to be sending you ongoing communications as we go. Okay. So if you have our little tiny Entente Plus booklet, that is getting a refreshed look as of this year as well. It will be available online in many different places. RTO ERO, we like to maintain our transparency with our Entente Plus plan. So it is on our public site for anyone to view or anyone to download at any point in time. So the update for 2026 should be up in about a week's time for you to view. And we actually have done a few changes too, where it is a lot more printer friendly if you want to print it. It is done on an 8.5 by 11, which means it'll be far fewer pages because it is a standard piece of paper size. But also we've included a coverage at a glance because most of the time people are okay with most of the booklet. They just want to know what items are or are not covered. So we did add a sometimes what's called a schedule of benefits or coverage at a glance area. That way it would be a lot easier for you to see what you need or print if you need. Now, I did mention earlier that any member without an email with us would be receiving a printed copy. And if you do have an email with us and you really want a printed copy, We will have some options to help facilitate for that, but really just to ensure that we continue to actually honor our strategic plan, which is to go green as much as possible. And a big part of that is reducing prints. We ask that you just at least try the digital version, or if you have a printer at home, just to print off the areas that you need rather than requesting the entire item. Because the real benefit of this booklet is that it's always going to be up to date when you view the electronic version. If you are viewing the analog, sorry, the printed version, it is going to be outdated, usually within 1 year's time. So we will ask you to possibly try it. Okay. And if you haven't visited our site recently, I'm happy to say that it's continuing to get a lot of refreshes. And one area that you may want to view and try out is our member center. If you come in and click on the member center button right here, you're going to be brought to a page where you're going to be given a lot of information. Not only will it bring you to the claims platform for Bel Air or currently Bel Air in the future the GreenShield on Top Plus portal, but you will have access to what we call our learning center, where once you sign in with the information that you already have, you'll be able to access a whole bunch of information, which includes like video webinars like this one and any other useful videos that you may find beneficial. You may want to click on the insurance area and just always have access to the most up-to-date tools that we're creating for you as we continue through this transition. Okay. Okay, so how do you submit claims in January? I went over that a bit, but I'm just going to reinforce the message that anything offered right now, we're going to continue to offer it. So if you like to send in claims through the mail, we will continue to offer a service for that. But we are offering a whole bunch of other options that are a lot more direct and immediate. So we do have an updated claim form, and again, everyone without an email will receive a printed copy of this in January. That way, it'll be easy to send in whatever claims you have. And this is going to be accessible in many locations, including the On Top Plus portal that I just showed you. Okay. But again, I will say if you maybe tried our past portal and you weren't a big fan of it, you don't mind sending claims in through the mail. I will still ask that maybe you at least try sending at least one claim online just to see how it is, because Green Shield, they really are leaders in the industry for their online tools. And it's not because they have very complicated high-tech items. Well, they do, but really their claim to fame is they really make it easy for members. So I'm going to walk you through what it looks like, just so you can actually have a little sneak peek with a promise for future tools in the weeks to come. But just to show you how easy it is, step one here is just to go to that same URL that we gave you earlier, claims.ontomplus.ca, and it'll bring you to our main page. Now, this portal can be accessed on pretty much any electronic device, whether it be a PC, a laptop, a tablet, an iPad, an iPhone, an Android. Really, they do operate on most, if not all, technologies as well as browsing platforms. Okay. And it will look and feel exactly the same as what the mobile app will have. Okay. So logging into the portal itself, all you have to do is first click on submit a claim. Once you're in this main page where you submit your claim, there actually will be a whole bunch of buttons on the bottom that you can select if you have common claims or if they're an item that you go to frequently. You will be populating all of your most frequent type transactions on the bottom. But otherwise, you can click on the drop-down box or you can simply type in what the expenditure is. And then once you do that, in this example, it's a massage therapist, what it will do is ask you to let them know who it is. Okay. And if there's no one there, you simply need to add them in the first time by giving them the phone number, the name of the facility or the name of the therapist, and click it. And again, once you've added them once, it will live down here and it'll be super easy for you to send in any future claims. So here you simply need to click on who the massage therapist is, and it will actually bring you to a page where you just need to enter in the minimum amount of detail in order to pay your claim. So in this case, it asks you for the treatment date, how long the treatment was, and the total amounts spent. You put those fields in, and then you click continue to review claim, and you're basically done. Now you may be wondering, well, what about adding a copy of the receipt, adding a picture, or anything of that sort? You don't need it here. Okay. I will be talking about GreenShield's capabilities shortly, but also just to prevent misuse, their technology is second to none. So because of their ability to make sure that no fraud is being done in other ways, there is no need to attach a receipt, which, hearing from our members, has always been the most cumbersome part of submitting a claim online. Once you put in the date and the duration and the dollar amount, you simply need to click continue to review claim. Hit the checkbox just to make sure that you're confirmed that everything is honest and truthful and correct. And then you are done. Simply three steps that many of you can probably do even before we leave the office, and the claim is paid. You'll be able to view all of your claims history in the claims history area. You'll be able to see view all your explanation of benefits. But what I really want to feature here is you can always create the thing I mentioned earlier for the summary for tax purposes. You don't need to wait for it to be created for you. Really, even within the Bel Air system, but especially for our future on Tom Plus portal, you can do it yourself anytime you like. If you click on this button, Create Claims History Report, you simply just need to put the date range that you want, click Create Report, and you can have that January 1st at 12:01 a.m. if you want. It will just populate things for you, and you will always have access to that report without having to wait on a third party to send it to you. Okay? And what I'm going to talk about next, I will just kind of preface based off of some feedback I got in the prior sessions that were done. Because this portal will really enable you to really understand your plan, unlike you have before. There have been some questions about, well, will this plan change or will that dollar maximum amount be different under GreenShield? Okay. Now, first, I do want to reinforce that GreenShield, they are simply here as a claims adjudicator and as an administrator. Some people are asking, well, my friend is on the Green Shield plan and they don't pay for massage therapy, or they limit the massage therapy to only $70 per hour. We cannot allow that. Now, I'm just going to say, hopefully as clear as day, that Green Shield had no say in our plan design whatsoever. Referencing our member survey, our members love our plan and they want to maintain the plan as much as possible and really just focus on keeping premiums at a minimum. And that's what we've done. Throughout the transition, so we've been working hard on this throughout 2025. And part of that process is ensuring that we've gone through every single expenditure that had been previously paid, understanding how that will feed into the Green Shield system, and making sure that all of the attributes within your plan that you've grown to love is maintained as of January the 1st. So if you do like that $1,300 maximum for paramedicals, that's not changing. If you currently have a certain aid being paid, that should be mirrored in the new system. And if there is ever any drastic difference and I didn't do my job and my team, we maybe overlooked something, you simply let us know. And our goal will always be to mirror the plan as best we can in the previous fashion. But by doing this process and mirroring the plan one expenditure at a time, we actually had the opportunity to make sure that we automate where possible. Okay. For example, a lot of our members are wondering, well, I have this vaccine for shingles coming up, or I'm curious about this Ozempic medication, or I want to try Wegovy. It's been prescribed to me. Am I covered? Well, historically, you would always be required to phone us to ask that question in the past. But what this online portal enables you to do is to just do a search on your own. I mean, GreenShield was chosen because their reputation to answer the phones in a timely fashion and give good answers is excellent. But I'm pretty sure you would prefer to not have to call them if you can use one of the self-serve items to find the answer all on your own. So here you have a drug lookup where either you type in the drug or you enter in the DIN number, the drug identification number, and it'll let you know if that drug is covered. And it'll let you know if it requires authorization like Wegovy. Okay, because we do cover it. We just want to make sure that you actually are getting that prescribed for what Health Canada intended. And if it is, our plan will cover it. Okay. It also gives you the opportunity to look up an array of expenditures too. Like, let's say you want to buy a pair of orthotics in 2026. What you'll be able to do in January is do an estimate. So it has tools where you can click on whatever the expenditure is and then put in the dollar amount that you're expecting to spend and then click continue to estimate and it'll show you the amount that you're eligible for as of that day. And you can be assured that that plan will pay out to the way it is here because it all feeds in to the Green Shield system where it looks at what you have available as of that day. Okay. Now, all of that was the online portal, but what we hear from our members a lot is, you know what, I can do everything from my phone. So I'm more than happy to send claims in online. I want to do everything online, but I only have my cell phone, and the previous portal wasn't fully optimized for all phones and all platforms. And people were begging us for a mobile app. So this was a big gain for our two EROs on Top Plus plan that's going to be made available as of January the 1st. Okay. You go in and you use the exact same username and password that you use to register for your account right now. And then once you're logged in, it's going to mirror that platform verbatim. All of the wording is the same. All of the features are the same. You can still submit the claim. There's two questions that I will address right now. Is the claim paid immediately? Pretty much. As long as you could fill out all the details on the receipt, most of it will pen just for a moment, just for it to go through their system. And it is pretty much automatic and it should be deposited into your account, especially if you have direct deposit within the time specified by the bank. Okay. The other question is, should you wait to submit your claim or can you send it to Belairdirect? I will say that I answered the question earlier, just to kind of reiterate now that we're in the submit a claim feature here, is you still can't submit your claim to Belairdirect. If you want to mail it in, we suggest that you send it in before December 12th. If you use our online portal, we suggest you do so before December 22nd. However, if you want to wait until January the 1st and submit it using this tool right here, that is perfectly fine too. You have the option of all of the above. Again, the suggestion is just to follow the date parameters if you are sending it to Belairdirect, as I mentioned earlier. Okay. Now, where I'm very excited is the feature to add the benefit card to your wallet, okay? Because I'm guilty to not even carrying my wallet most days. My whole life is here, so I do not ever want to lose my cell phone. And really and truly, for those of you who are traveling and say, you know what, you really need that card on you just in case. Well, think about it. If you got into an emergency and you're traveling and you can take one thing with you, just one thing, are you going to take your wallet or would most people take their phone if they had it with them? I'm pretty sure most of us are saying they would take their phone. And for me, and I don't think I'll show any of the information. No, if I double click on the button on the side here, I have all of my cards available at the tip of my fingers. The main thing that we do want to help people with is teach them how to add this card to their wallet if they choose to do so. It really is as simple as going to the benefit card using the exact same steps I showed you earlier. But when you're on your phone on the mobile app next year, you will have the option to simply click add it to wallet. And whether you are with an Apple phone or a Android device, you simply need to click to add to Apple Wallet or add to your Google Wallet. And really, that's it. Your card is on your phone whenever you need it. Okay. Now, just to say two questions that were brought up earlier is, well, how do I even go to my wallet on my phone? Okay. Now, for that, I'm gonna give you some best practices, but the short answer is I have no clue how to do it on your phone. Okay, because it is a customizable item for most and for me on a lot of Apple devices. If you simply click on the button here twice, it will bring up your wallet. You may have it linked to another button or no button at all, but the answer that would be applicable for anyone is just to go to your apps and look for something wallet. It should either be called Apple Wallet or Google Wallet, and that's where you should be able to have pull up. That's where you'll be able to pull up all of your cards that you've added there, including this one. Okay. All right, flowing through. There's a few questions, and I do see some questions coming in, and they are excellent, but they are applicable at the end. So if you asked a question that was from a little while ago, just note that I will be addressing that. Just I will do so at the very end because we want to give a good extra like 15, 20 minutes for questions, just in case there are some unanswered. Okay, so all of that was about the transition. All of that was related to the move away from Belairdirect over to GreenShield. A few closing remarks about the move itself is this actually is a great move for not just our existing members, just to make sure that we continue to meet their needs, requirements, making sure that the phones get answered, making sure if there's a mail strike, we don't have a whole backlog, and we give members very easy access to do all the things that is expected of the plan. We're future-proofing the platform itself with tools. So the unfortunate reality is with every passing year, a lot of existing systems, whether it be plastic cards, whether it be sending claims in through mail, the whole world is changing. So, a part of the journey that we wanted to help our members go through was not to take away the plastic cards. It wasn't to take away durable cards. It is to help walk you through what is becoming the new norm and help people learn how to add claims onto their wallet, their card to their wallet, to learn how to submit claims online. So, throughout 2026, it is going to be a journey that we're going to be going through together, and we will continue to help you as best we can. And we thank you for your patience in doing so because it is really a great change that's going to future-proof the On Plus plan and only make it that much better. Um, so there are a couple of other changes that are happening as of January the 1st too. And some of them were referenced within the communique that is our renewal document that was sent out. And there are quite a few questions in the chat box about those. So I am going to go over it just very high level first, but I promise you I will bring it back at the very end in case people need to go somewhere. I'll talk in more detail about the cataract surgery, the complete dentures, and compounded medications because those were three changes that were communicated, not because of the move to Green Shield, but because we always listen to our members and where we can make those changes without significantly affecting the premiums of the plan, we will always look to do that. And that's not through Green Shield. That's not their decision. It's not my decision. It is the hardworking benefits committee and board of directors that we work in tandem with to always make sure that we follow best practices to see what plan changes we can incorporate while maintaining a fair and balanced premium cost to our members. Okay, so I'll come back to that at the very end. But we are happy to announce that we are introducing a brand new second opinion service partner. There's going to be more information on the next page, so hold tight there. And I will be talking a bit about fraud management through our new provider, GreenShield, as well. Okay, so let's start with Novus Health. Okay, so if you are familiar with maybe Best Doctors, Teladoc, maybe CloudMD, who we're currently with, also referred to as KII Health. They are popular resources that our members have grown to expect and love. And what they do is they really are a secondary option to your regular healthcare team. If you know about Best Doctors, Teladoc, Key, or CloudMD, Novus Health does everything that they do. I'd say, if not as well, better. That's the reason why we actually moved to them as of January 1st, 2026. So, what they do is they assist you if you do need a second opinion. I mean, just because you have a specialist, just because you have a doctor, let's say you have a diagnosis and a treatment plan, just because you have a doctor or just because you have a treatment plan doesn't mean it's the best one. And sometimes we feel a bit stuck and we feel that we can't ask our physician for a second opinion. Okay. Well, this is where the second opinion service comes in. By contacting Novus Health, they will, on your behalf, listen to you, understand what your needs are. If it's a second opinion and you need to have a physical exam, they can maybe put you in touch with a specialist that can see you just to get that second opinion. Maybe you've gone through a lot of specialists and there is a lot of information that's already available. There's already a lot of tests, a lot of scans, a lot of interpretations. They can even pull your information on your behalf. And this is all at no additional cost. And they could send it to a third party and they could do a whole separate review on your behalf just to make sure you have that right diagnosis or you have that right medical treatment. I was talking with a member just recently, and he was waiting for knee replacement surgery, and it was quite some time that he was waiting. And a lot of the time, it's not because there's wait lists everywhere. Sometimes one particular specialist may have a longer waiting list than someone else. Well, what you can do is contact Novus Health, and they could actually scan within a geographic region if maybe someone doing that surgery can see you sooner. So it doesn't help you jump the queue, it just gives you greater access. It does other things like make sure that you don't have to rely on Dr. Google or AI to diagnose you. They always have someone to speak with you to help interpret where you are in your treatment plan. But I would say the most common use for this platform as of late is to help find a family doctor. Okay, no matter what province or territory we present to, this is a very common issue that is brought up across the board. So with this, they actually have their own proprietary tool that is kind of industry leading, and they actually are trying to work with provinces and territories to have this available province wide because this is a growing issue and there's not enough things being done proactively to actually mitigate it. But what they do is they actually do have people calling out within geographic regions and seeing if certain physicians are accepting new patients. If there's a new practice open, they'll always take note of that. And right now, you would need to call in and they'll help you find a physician accepting new patients within your area. But what they hope to have in short time is they will actually have a searching feature where it'll be real-time updates, where as they know physicians are accepting new patients, you'll be able to search within your geographic region and know what physicians are available. And last but not least, they have a fully developed digital platform that not just helps you with all of the tools that services that I just mentioned, but there's a lot of health articles. There's a lot of self-assessment and self-serve capabilities. If you're not sure, maybe you and you don't quite want to go to maybe a psychologist yet because you're not sure if you're quite there, if you're not sure if you are at a higher risk for a certain medical condition, there are a lot of self-assessment tools to help you determine your next best step on their platform. So during the transition, we still partner with Key. So if you have a case open with them, they will still continue to serve you. So you need not worry. We are going to suggest again that within the next few weeks, if you are looking to utilize a service like this, that you don't use Key. Instead, you would want to contact Novus Health. Now, even though Novus Health is only effective as of January the 1st, They are willing to start servicing our members before that. So stay tuned for more information. We will be sharing the main page that you can actually utilize all these tools and the telephone number in short order. So please stay tuned and watch your email for more information. Because it really is as simple as either contacting them by phone or by visiting their platform. There will be a specialist, and that's often actually a qualified specialist and nurse that will walk you through the intake process. They will hear from you and they will coordinate on your behalf, and then they will have customized support that is completely tailored to you. Okay? And last but not least, before I address a lot of the questions that are in the chat box, and up until now, if you have a question that hasn't been addressed, before we start flooding the inbox for Q&A too much, I will ask to maybe give me 5 minutes to address a lot of the questions in there, because there are a lot of duplicates. And once I finish flowing through the questions that are already there, I'm happy to take a lot more if I haven't answered your question yet. So for me, being in the insurance industry for a while and in prior occupations within insurance, I used to sit beside fraud teams and whatnot, and I used to hear what goes on out there. Not accusing our members, but really sometimes people are targeted. And I'm very happy with what GreenShield has in place to help prevent fraud and catch fraud when it's being done. Because as I mentioned earlier, your premiums are completely tied to how much is being paid. If there are fraudulent claims coming in, that does directly impact you. And while people think that they're entitled to a maximum or they are entitled to any monies remaining, that is not so. Falsifying information and sending in inaccurate claims that have been altered or they're lacking from um, they are fraudulent, it is a crime. Okay, so I just want to make that very clear. Now, that doesn't mean that your valid claims are not going to go through, but what it does mean is through the claims that are being received and the very fact that we actually have a lot of the expenditures subdivided in such a way that we can actually catch some patterns that we may want to try and stop. Okay. For example, if you go to the dentist because you have horrible tooth pain, but one claim doesn't get paid, and they say, you know what? Why don't we use this cleaning code instead? Because that will definitely go through. Well, an emergency visit with the cleaning doesn't really make sense. So that the system's going to stop that right in its track. But also, the reason why we ask you to choose your practitioner is because, again, a lot of clinics, a lot of vendors, a lot of practitioners may actually act without your knowledge. Okay? They may be sending in claims that you're not aware of. They may be increasing the amount of the claims. There may be things being done for our most vulnerable population, especially with the demographic that we serve. So they do take a look at that practitioner level. And if a certain massage therapist is doing 18 hours of treatments per day, something is awry there. So there are technologies to find that, catch that, and make sure that your premium dollar is not going to waste by funding fraud. Okay. So with that, that wraps up the primary portion of the presentation. So we have at least 20 minutes to do Q&A. So I'm happy to flow through it. So I'm just going to kind of go in order here. One question is around the two-factor authentication. So what that typically is to make sure that for online portals, people don't just have bad actors easily being able to access your account and falsify claims on your behalf. Things need to be done there to try and prevent that. So yes, there is two-factor authentication, but it goes beyond that for the initial registration. So what I mean by that is when you submit your email, you will have to go to your own email and get that verification code and input that in. The other verification that's done just to make sure that we have accurate information, but just to make sure that it's you as well, is the reason why we ask you for your date of birth, even though we already have it. The reason why we ask you for your address, even though we already have it. That is just one added element just to make sure that, again, those bad actors don't take advantage of any of our members. Okay. So the question here, I keep on saying that info about our claim. Will it populate from now into the new system, or will it have to do it the first time? So this is a multi-part answer because it could be interpreted in different ways. So in terms of the providers that you typically use right now, nothing is going to be populated there. So you will need to populate a vendor that you use for the first time. So your massage therapist, the Shoppers Home Healthcare that you use, whatever purchase you make, you will need to populate them the first time. Now, even further to that, around your banking information, I just want to reiterate that if you have not provided us with your direct deposit or your PAD information and you want that to actually be your preferred setup, you will need to input that. Now, around your claims history and all of your past statements, I'm very happy that this question came up for three reasons. Um, First and foremost, not all of your history is going to be carried over. That's a lot of data, and vendors should never hold data that they don't need. So what we will have carry over is all of the information within the 1 year maximum, or if it's the 2 year maximum, or if it's a lifetime maximum, we will make sure that all of that is carried over. If you have a power of attorney and that's on file, we want to make sure that that is captured in the new system. If you have prior authorization for Wegovy or for Botox for migraines, all of those approvals are going to flow over. If you're on a brand name medication, so all of that data will be available to you as of January 1st. Now the question is asking if things are going to be populated now. The answer is no. So that's only going to be in effect as of January the 1st. And the last thing, the reason why I'm very happy that Maureen, you asked this, is because some people are asking, well, I haven't archived anything ever. I want my past 5 years or 6 years, or for audit purposes, maybe even 7 years available to me. Now's the time that you may want to go onto the Belair portal and download those statements if you need them. Now, be assured if you don't do this, because there is very little need, maybe. Um, you don't feel the need to do that. And let's say 4 years down the line, you get audited and you need some statements. Belairdirect, even though they are not operating as our group plan administrator anymore, if there are need for statements, summaries, and things of that sort on a case-by-case basis, RTO staff, like myself and my team and others, will be able to facilitate that for you in the future. Okay. There's another question about without receipts, how do you know a claim is legitimate? Actually a lot of ways. And what I will say, first and foremost, is how do I say this without, um, okay, I'm just going to say it because we've been with each other for over an hour. I'm not going to choose my words. It is super easy to fake a receipt. So even having a copy of a receipt in this day and age with online tools, with editing software, with AI even, it's hard to tell what is real and what is not anymore. So a part of the rationale for not having the receipt is that it doesn't do nearly enough to prevent fraud. And for our, I mean, GreenShield has the opportunity. So if we do find that this is an issue, we can turn on that feature, but we have listened to our members for many a time, and uploading that receipt is a major barrier for a lot of members using it. And they do, at GreenShield, they do have a lot of other means for data mining, working with other insurance companies to make sure that providers that are committing fraud are caught. But also, even from a member standpoint, there may be some random audits and random spot checks where if you're sending in a claim for this massage therapist, they may do an audit where they will have you submit the receipt, and in some cases, they'll call a vendor just to substantiate that that treatment was done. So, for all those reasons, we do not need the receipt, and you really can continue to be assured that we have top level audit practices in place here. Can you add a spousal card to their wallet? So you actually can share the Apple Wallet as well, sorry, the card to your spouse. How to do so, I admit I don't know yet, but that's a great question. So I will answer. The answer is yes. How to do so, we will try and assist our members with tools in the near future on how to do that. And another question that came up earlier that I forgot to reference is one key change within the card this year is because it is digital, because it is one that shouldn't need to be reproduced on a regular basis. Your spouse and dependent information will be showing on that card as well. Historically, when we only had the plastic card that we didn't want to have to replace unless absolutely necessary, it was not a good decision to actually have the dependent information on there. But now that we're moving to a more online-based platform that the majority of our members will be using, your spouse and any eligible children will be showing on that card as well. Your name will still be the primary, but they will be showing on there as one of your dependents. Okay. A question is around whether or not some members will receive a paper copy of their statement, even if they have direct deposit. Um, this is a so I will give you a cryptic answer. There will always be opportunities to provide paper mailed statements for members who need it. Okay. The reason why I say this is because in our current environment and a lot of the time, and actually at the last session, a lot of people asked me, like, why do I even receive a paper copy with a paper receipt when I just put it in the shredder? Most of our members are quite comfortable with having an online account and viewing things online, and we don't want to automatically send explanation of benefits out to all members unless we confirm that they absolutely need it. Not just for preference, not just for our environmental cause, but there's always a cost component to more materials being used. So in the new year, we are going to continue to solution this. Of course, members who don't have an email, who don't have a computer, they will still continue to receive a paper statement in the mail. But for the vast majority of the members who don't want it, again, it's all going to be online. For that subset that want to have an online portal, but they still need that physical copy, we promise you in the new year we will have a solution on how to determine that and produce something for you. Does Novus Health offer dental second opinion? The answer is unfortunately no. For Novus Health, it is usually for medical issues only and things that can have a physician or a specialist review and diagnose. Okay. Can you use Novus Health for second opinion while traveling outside Canada? That's one that I will leave to them. Again, there's going to be more tools and more information with Novus Health in the weeks to come. But also in short order, we will be sharing their telephone number, so you can always call and ask them that question directly. What will happen with all personal data? Oh, sorry, one second. It's moving right here. When we signed up for CloudMD and prior, when was it with Teladoc? So for those, for I'd say any group that we sign on as a third-party provider, um, privacy data, especially for our members that are at risk, we have a multi-layer verification process where whenever we sign up for any new agreement, your privacy, your protection is always really what rises to the top because really all it takes is one breach to have a reputation gone. But even beyond that, we know that our members expect us to do so. So for each different provider, it is a different agreement, but they all rise to the best practices for financial institutions. So for most, it is medical information, so they are required to hold it for a certain period of time that is predetermined within a contract. But then thereafter, we actually have them destroy it and we confirm the fact that they destroy it. And that's the same thing for all of our parties as well. So even Belairdirect, they will retain for audit purposes what they need to and what they need to only. They are not authorized to use that data for anything else other than if we request it for a pre agreed upon purpose. And thereafter, once there's no more use of that, it will be fully destroyed. Again, it's a long answer, but we promise you that data is always of utmost importance and a top priority for us. Okay, there's a few questions here that was already answered, so I will be skipping them. Is there a need to scan the invoice or bill? So I'm just going to answer that one just for fun. There is no need to actually copy a physical version of your receipt for online items. Okay, and actually, I broke my own promise. So around the three changes that were announced, so around cataract surgery, complete dentures, and compounded medications. So I will start by talking about cataract surgery because it is a benefit that really is unlike any other. So the On Top Plus plan does have one of the more generous cataract benefits out there. The benefit currently, 2025, for this year, is you have $300 per eye for the cataract lens or intraocular lens itself. You have an additional $300 per eye for any miscellaneous surgery or measurement costs, and you have additional glasses amount for glasses after the surgery. So the issue there is with cataract benefits, nothing is standardized, unfortunately. When someone does their eye measurement, when someone gets their surgery done, when different things happen, there's no consistency with the receipts. So what has frustrated our members is that based off of how the vendor may send in the receipt, it comes in and is paid a different way, and we're always having to adjust and trying to coordinate it. So what we've done instead is we actually have allocated expenditures in a slightly more predefined way, and it's a way that's a lot easier for our members to understand. So with every cataract surgery, an eye measurement is done beforehand, and that usually is in around the $200 amount. So again, that was probably one of the main items that was causing inconsistency with payment. So the new practice is that we will isolate that one on its own. That way it'll always pay the same. And then anything else will pay. And it'll pay up to the same aggregate maximum. In this case, it's $400. So in some cases, some members may be even getting more. So for the cataract lens itself, any surgery costs or any other direct bill that's related to the cataract surgery will be paid up to the $400 per eye. And the pair of glasses that is paid for after the surgery remains the same. So it's a great change, and it'll just add that much more transparency for our members, but also it will yield consistency with payments as well. I will talk about compounded medications because there are more questions about that one. And then I'll talk about the complete dentures. So what a compounded medication is where a traditional medication doesn't suit your needs, and a pharmacist that does compounding will need to mix multiple items. So it could be a base and multiple active ingredients to make a medication customized to you. Now, our plan has always covered compounded medications. However, there was always a stipulation because our plan is one that doesn't cover pharmacy fees, such as dispensing fees. And there was a refinement in practice where, at some point in time, compounding fees were not paid for either. The change that we are able to offer through GreenShield is that the compounded fee will be paid for. But again, just to prevent misuse, fraud, or misaligned practices, is they have the sophistication to receive it and say, for this cream, it was for this purpose. It should really only cost maybe about $10 to compound that medication. So the long and short answer is that there's an improved practice where compounding fees will be covered. That's a short answer. The longer answer is that it will pay for the compounding fees. However, there is going to be some fraud management practice in there where, again, not to point the finger, but sometimes liberties are made with the compounding fee where it is more than what is necessary to mix or create a certain medication. There are safeguards in place that help facilitate our ability to reimburse that in a much more liberal way. Okay. Now, for complete dentures, again, happy to report that as of January 1st, 2026, if you do get complete dentures placed, that is now covered. Previously, only partial dentures. That's where a denture can affix to one existing tooth. is placed, only that was covered, and complete dentures were not covered. So if you are making a purchase for complete dentures next year, that will be covered. Okay. So I have about 6 more minutes, so I will just take some of the more common questions that are here before I move on. Okay, there's some questions about travel insurance. So, who handles travel insurance? So, currently and in 2026, Global Excel Management, sometimes referred to as GEM, is our third-party travel provider. They take calls for claims and they reimburse calls, and that is not changing for next year. So, if you have a medical emergency, the information currently on the back of your card is going to be valid now as well as in 2026. The main difference is that it is all within all the On Top Plus space and is not going through Belairdirect anymore. Okay, and yes, the telephone numbers for Global Excel all remain exactly the same. And in fact, if you had a claim before, even under Belairdirect and our previous agreement as with them as our administrator, that won't make a difference because your history will always be tied to your email itself. So you'll always be able to view your past travel claims on there as well. Okay. I will answer one more question. Okay, so there are still some questions about when and who to submit your claims to. So that's going to be my final question. And again, if you have any more questions after, we are always here to help. You can always call and email us thereafter. Now, if you have a lot of questions that are for claims intended for January 2026, I may ask for a bit of patience because as of Jan 1st, you're going to have full access to their portal and all their tools, and likely all your answers are going to be on the site itself. We don't want to bog down our member services team 2025 for items that are in 2026, especially since we're not the claims adjudicators, so we can't give as fulsome an explanation as GreenShield will be able to do next year. So I will just actually I'll just speak to it just briefly just to respect everyone's time. If you have a claim right now and you're not sure where it should go, um, send it to Beller Direct if you can within the next week or so. They'll still get adjudicated. Everything will still be handled fully. You need not worry about it not being paid. But you may, and in some cases, you probably should, maybe just wait until January the 1st to submit your claim through GreenShield Plus portal. It'll pay the exact same way. You'll get your money the exact same way. You'll be able to try out the brand new platform, and that way you won't have to wonder where it is. You know they'll go to GreenShield if you wait until then to do so. So with that, I do thank everyone again for your patience and your attention this evening. Again, a lot of these resources will be shared with you. I hope that everyone is excited for January the 1st. I know I threw a lot of information at you. Some may be a bit more excited, some may be a bit confused, but I do promise you that RTOERO, soon to be on Tom Plus Education Canada, sorry, on Tom Education Canada, will be here to support you every single step of the way. So with that, I do thank you and I wish you all the best and Happy New Year.